Hey, everybody. How are you? Welcome to the Core Roundtable Talks. It is the podcast edition, it is the virtual edition. My name is Linda, and I am the host of the Core Roundtable Talks. I'm really excited about what is happening today. I'm excited that we have an amazing discussion on the future of retail in fashion and how AI plays a bigger part. So, I'm going to be introducing my two amazing guests in just a few minutes. But before that, we have to get into the core with it.
Into the core.
Get into it.
All good things in Africa and beyond. Into the core. Things in Africa and beyond.
That's right. It's all good things in Africa and beyond. My name is Linda. Again, if you're just catching us right now, it is the Core Roundtable Talks. It is the AI Future of Fashion edition. I am so excited. So one of the things that happened with me recently was as I was just trying to figure out where we're actually sitting and the conversations that we've been having about AI. I kind of started shopping around and seeing who I should actually bring to the roundtable. And Emna and Jumia Kenya popped up as, hey, remember that they're online and a lot of their stuff that they do affects all of us. And I'm sure AI is affecting the retail space, and it will be really interesting to hear from her. So please welcome Emna Mastouri. She's the head of fashion for Jumia Kenya. Welcome, Emna.
Thank you so much, Linda. I'm extremely excited to be here. Allow me to welcome our guests and also Jess. Nice to meet you, my dear.
And,
and
I was just about to introduce Jess, who is
Yes.
also a luxury brand consultant, and she has been working with so many amazing brands all across Africa. She and I just wanted for both of you to give us a short introduction as to who you are and what you do. You can start, Emna.
Yeah, okay. My name is Emna Mastouri. Coming from Tunisia, North Africa, based currently in Nairobi, Kenya. So I have been working with Jumia Group since 2018. Started as a customer service agent and then has been given other positions. So I chose to move to East Africa to upgrade more my career and discover a lot of things, especially good connections like you guys. So now I am head of fashion, sports, kids and baby, and I manage a team that is specialized in business development of brands and local and global sellers.
Oh, that's fantastic. Welcome. Jess,
Thank
would you
you.
like to go ahead?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Linda, for having me. So my name is Jess Maina, and I have a background in actually an MBA in luxury brand management. For the last at least 10 years, I've done a plethora of things within the fashion industry, but mainly on the business or branding and marketing side. So I first have worked in quite a bit of retail, brick and mortar. And then I that decided to go into e-commerce, especially after COVID. So everything went online. And so I actually self-taught myself digital marketing over the last at least 8 years, since right before COVID. And then right now I work with brands on their e-commerce platforms. So Shopify and also, the back end of things, and then also SEO optimization, all the copy, email marketing, all things digital marketing. So for the last year, though, I have really um,
Yeah, I think you have a bad connection, Jess. Uh-oh.
Freeze for a bit. Sorry, I think did I freeze for a bit? Can you hear me now?
Yes, you did. Yeah.
Now you're back.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. So for the last year, I've really dived into ability and AI can really work hand in hand. And talking a bit more about it and how brands and individuals can use AI for a positive instead of negative, as a lot of people are assuming that it will be doing for the future.
Okay, great. So just before we continue, just make sure that you don't have two platforms running at the same time, like your phone and the laptop, because then sometimes there's a little bit of a background. So just double check that to make sure it could be where.
No,
Okay.
I just have my iPad actually. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so one of the main things that I think about AI is just how tech is basically creating a different space and scenario, especially in the emerging market space, and it's reshaping what fashion actually looks like. So I feel like AI has got the ability to recreate and preserve our fashion, our heritage, our culture. It could expand the market. I feel like there's a lot of people who are really worried about how AI is going to affect the industry. I feel like we have the opportunity to actually take advantage of this space. And I would love about what your thoughts are. Shall I start with you, Emna? You know, like as working, how is AI affecting how you guys are working, and are you using it to optimize the fashion space?
Let's start, Linda, with saying that AI now cannot be ignored in any field, even fashion. I think that a lot of people are afraid of using AI in many fields, especially fashion, because it's a field that is delicate and related to lifestyle. We are using it, of course, in a certain way, but I will not confirm that we are relying on it 100%. Speaking of my perspective, I think that we should use it more, not only in Jumia, but in every field.
Okay. What are your thoughts, Jess?
Yeah, so I agree with Emna in the sense where it's not going anywhere. AI is not going anywhere, so you might as well learn how to use it for your advantage. There's also the risk of dilution, but then, to be honest, whatever happens in world economies, whatever you have to adapt to, there's always going to be a negative. The benefit is that AI, if you feed the right information, then you will get the right information. If you just use automated information, then you will get the wrong information that will not benefit you and will also.
Absolutely, Jess.
Yeah. So, and then also there's the ethics around it as well. And then also comes in blockchain. So I'll talk about that a bit later as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So how are, for Jumia, how is Jumia using the presence of AI across Africa? How are you leveraging AI to support and scale your local fashion business?
Jumia uses AI. Maybe you're now asking me about the partners that we are dealing with. We are using it to support them and answer their questions automatically by WhatsApp, or to use an agent like a robot who answers them immediately about their requests. But to develop their business, we are still. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay. We're still relying
I can hear
on
you
account
perfectly.
management. Yes, we are still relying on account management and brand management. That means more of human intelligence, more than artificial intelligence in developing the business of those local fashion sellers. I hope that we use it more. Maybe we have plans in the future for that, but allow me to confirm that we are using it to not exactly for the fashion industry, but for all our sellers to make their partnership easier with us.
Okay.
So
That's fantastic. And
Yeah.
Jess, when you're looking at African fashion brands, how do you feel like we need to leverage with AI? How do you feel like a local fashion designer needs to start positioning themselves in terms of using AI to their benefit?
One of the biggest things is trend analysis. So basically, AI can really help these smaller brands who cannot afford these like really formal reports that cost thousands and thousands of dollars, or yearly subscription like from Women's Wear Daily or the other platforms. So what AI will do is actually see your design and then place you in the right market, or also give you suggestions for new designs. And then they can also link you with artisans that can make those designs. So it also, there's a sustainability aspect in it in that sense as well, because that means the designer is not creating something blindly that would also end up being dead stock per se on shelves or would not move. So it'll be sustainable for the environment, but also better for their bank accounts as well, their spending.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
if I can add something, Linda,
Yes,
to
yes,
Jess,
yes.
I'm aligned with her. I think that also that will prevent the returns. It's one of the biggest
Mm-hmm.
issues within fashion online.
The returns.
When the customer will return a product,
Ah, gotcha.
the
Yeah.
designs before that using AI can help prevent that.
Okay. Okay. And how, let me ask you a question. So as Jumia is, kind of deepening your partnerships with global players from the
Mhm.
UAE, from Turkey, and from all these other countries,
Egypt.
how are
Yeah.
you trying to streamline your cross-border collaboration? And is that something that you're working towards?
AI is used in this particular part in data gathering and trend analytics. That means before we bring a product to this market, or in Kenyan or even African market, you have to understand how this product is showcasing in those countries,
Right.
to analyze the customer behavior before having those partnerships.
Mm-hmm.
The information collection from blogs or from e-commerce platforms there can predict the customer
Mm-hmm.
behavior here in Africa. So I think that that's something that we are working on. But allow me also to add, Linda, that we cannot delete the human interaction here with that. So
Mm-hmm.
AI is a plus in these collaborations.
Of course. Yeah. Jess,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, same thing as that. Basically, AI will collect your mobile data and your social media as well, what you're clicking,
Mm.
your Google, your caches, your cookies, all of that. And it will read your spending habits, and then it would also give more information for regional preferences, seasons within the continent, within East Africa, the world. So people are more aligned when it comes to their merchandising and also, their inventory, and more on top of it as well. And also people's spending habits as well. So, like I said, a lot of the times it's the reports, it's like, we have access and we know how to get that information. But for smaller brands and artisans in marginalized communities, this would be actually really ideal for them to have.
Yeah.
So just
Markets
to
are different. Yes. I'm sorry, Linda. Markets
Sorry?
are different. The market in China is not like the market in Africa. Even in Africa, the North Africa is different from the East. Every customer has a certain behavior, and AI can help in analyzing that before engaging in certain partnerships or having merchandise from those countries or those markets.
Right. But then, okay, so if I would just play a double, I want to ask a double-sided question, especially in terms of like e-commerce, and the support of local artisans and designers. How do they leverage with that? I mean, is it clear to them? Is it clear to local artisans how they can leverage with AI? And what are the tools that they should use?
I could say, so
Yeah, go ahead, Jess.
right now there's a lot of test pilots. Right now there's a test pilot. There's something called Rural AI here in Kenya that farmers have been using. And basically, you don't have to have a smartphone. You basically send a message to a 4-digit number, and it's 1 shilling a message. And you ask them questions like you would be using on like ChatGPT. How do I do this? And it'll give you the list of things on like a smartphone. So that's more of the basic side of it. But, as time goes, it will be fed more information that will be more pertinent to these artisans. So right now let's say, for instance, there's a data collection center in Samburu that they have set up to start gathering that data. This is where the human touch comes, gathering data from these artisans and craftsmen and feeding it into these big databases and making sure that we have collected, because AI is like a brain. So basically to make sure that if someone asks a certain question, that it'll be able to answer. So right now it's pretty basic, but then there is something out there for the kibambe, as you would call it, not a smartphone.
Right. But, I find this so interesting. So when it comes to the local farmers, of course, but there also has to be, I feel, a space where we're getting educated on how AI could be beneficial, especially I'm just saying
Right.
now in the fashion space. So I always feel that in terms of agriculture, they get a lot more
Funding.
education projects, funding. Yes, and educating in such spaces. Whereas, in fashion, which is the most ridiculous thing because we all wear clothes somehow, we don't get seen as any, as a viable platform to put some money into education per se. So what do you think?
I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, that's why conversations like this need to start happening. I know that Imperial College in London and also in conjunction with INSEAD and Caring Group, they're starting a plugin for ChatGPT AI that is only for sustainable fashion. So they're feeding all of that information through the Leonardo Science Center. So that is starting to happen. Obviously, that's happening abroad, but here in Africa, everything is very pilot based. I know that in Ghana, there's a museum that they're starting to do that so they can have virtual libraries, kind of like what Google is doing. That is also still a test project. In South Africa, there's also an app where they are feeding in different dialects within South Africa. So, like how in Kenya, we have 40 some plus tribes, but then within those tribes, there's so many dialects. And this is also pertinent for our artisans because a lot of them pass down these different traditional, like their heritage designs through their dialects because it's storytelling. So there's different things happening in different places, but nothing has come together cohesively as this is still a very beginning stage kind of thing, but the conversation needs to start happening.
This is mandatory now, yes.
Yeah.
It really is. In fact, I was just about to say one of the guiding things, and I was just thinking about these conversations happening is like the conversation right now, and I don't know if it's happening on the side of Jumia because I understand how massive of a market it is, and especially when it comes to taking care of everybody from lower income to middle income to the higher of the income. But how are you guys working around sustainability, and how is Jumia taking care of that facet and that factor? I mean, because it also comes into feeding into the traditional ways, the more sustainable ways. Is there away, because you mentioned that you want to work with artisans, also local artisans. Is there something that Jumia is having to have these conversations in terms of sustainability?
I don't have a confirmation, Linda, about that. From my point of view, from my role,
Yeah,
I think that the high management can have an idea about that. But the
of
plans
course.
of Jumia to use more AI in terms of preventing, as I said before, having more returns that have impact on the business and the GMV, that might happen, because I think also AI can be applied in supply chain management. We have discussions, but I cannot confirm that we are using it now at 100%, or we are going to use it in the future. But
Yeah,
we are aware of the impact of AI. And
yeah.
from my point of view, yes, I think that Jumia is the closest platform here in Africa that can start using that at a biggest share. Yes, I'm aligned with that.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, well, because you
Yeah,
are one of the you are the largest platform, and I was just thinking
yeah,
like that would be a really great conversation, to also, you know,
yeah.
go ahead. You were
Yes.
going to say something.
You are speaking exactly about fashion, but let's not forget that Jumia is to be honest, not specialized in fashion. It is a growing category that has a great share of the business in different countries, but it's not a marketplace that is specialized only in fashion. Maybe that's why we did not start doing virtual try-ons or
Mm.
related topics of AI. Yes, but it is a great opportunity for us, and I think yes, AI now is extremely important to be used in every field to develop the business, or even to make the customer experience better. I think yes, AI now cannot be ignored, and as Jess said, that needs to be applied in the field.
Okay. Jess, I have a question for you in terms of AI and how it can help reduce waste in fashion. Do you think that this is a platform, particularly that emerging markets need to pay attention to?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, emerging markets, um, not a lot of brands have a lot of money for wastage. And so to be
Right.
able to also keep up with, the Joneses, I guess you would say, or like whatever's going on in the West, we kind of really need to tap into AI for sustainability, also, for the environment for sure. Also there's the digital product passports that are going to be mandatory for Europe, sales of anything in Europe, and that, goes hand in hand with AI and blockchain. So soon enough, any brand that wants to sell anything in Europe is going to have a DPP. So these are conversations that these emerging brands need to actually, if they're early adoptive, it will be good, because once it gets too popular, it might get expensive. So I feel like having this conversation now with these emerging brands would definitely help with that, and also wastage, and also making sure that they're in tune with also innovative materials. So AI can help with that. So you can actually feed information into AI and ask them, okay, I want to make this product, this traditional product, but what is around me in my environment, my immediate environment, that is sustainable, that I can use to make this? So let's say you're somewhere in the middle rural Kenya and there's a lot of bananas there. AI may actually tell you, I'm located here. You tell them you're located here, and they'll say, oh, maybe try using banana leaf. Then you ask AI, how can I make banana leaf into a fiber? So AI can actually really help with that when it comes to innovative, more sustainable raw materials that you don't have to source from far and beyond, which is also expensive. It can be something within your community.
Whoops.
Absolutely.
Oh, did you lose me? Can you
Yeah, we
guys hear
lost
me?
you for a bit. I don't know. Did you lose me?
I can
Oh,
hear
we
you,
lost-
Linda,
Yeah, but you're frozen. Okay, now you're
Okay.
fine.
but you're
Okay,
frozen.
I
Yes.
don't know. Well, this weather of ours somehow trying to stop conversations.
But were you able to
Yes,
were you
I could
able to
hear.
hear me though? At
Yes,
least?
I heard. I
Yes.
heard
Okay, good.
95%
Yes.
of it.
Yes.
So let me ask you. So what are the plans? And I'm just saying this for Jumia because I know you
Mhm.
said that you can't really confirm how
Mhm.
like when it is that you're going to use. But what
Yeah.
is the growing force right now with Jumia, especially with fashion? I know you have kind of brought in, the opportunity of using fashion trends and working with fashion brands.
Mhm.
How would you like to, encourage our market? I had a conversation with you, I think last week when we were talking
Mm.
about working with local fashion brands and introducing
Mhm.
them on a larger scale. And you spoke
Mm.
about the market space in Tunisia and Morocco being way better than the market space here. What are some of
Yeah.
the would you like to just talk a little bit about that and just see what our growth element is in terms for Jumia?
Okay, Jumia's relying more on collaborations and having more assortment and have the choice for the customer to the customer has to see all the products that he needs to see on the platform. That is something that worked very much in North Africa, in the Tunisian market. There's some noise
Mm-hmm.
there. Morocco and Egypt are very big in fashion. Um, I think I
I
lost you,
can hear
Linda.
you. I can hear you
Ah,
perfectly.
okay, I'm sorry. There was
No,
some noise,
I,
and
I,
after that, okay. The strategy is actually clear, and it is using those partners to have as much as we can of an assortment. You already mentioned that we have collaborations with partners from outside Kenya, or even
mhm.
for those countries they are collaborating with partners outside Kenya. I think now it's strategically unacceptable to not collaborate with people from China or Egypt or other countries. But the market there is completely different from the East African market. And the same, I don't think that the North African market for Jumia is using AI 100%, because if it is done there, that will absolutely be done here.
Right. Well, I
Yes.
think that I would. Are there some fashion brands in Kenya that because I know you're just newly here, are
Mhm.
there some fashion
Yeah.
brands that you have seen that you absolutely love?
A fashion brand.
Fashion brands in Kenya
Yeah.
that you have seen
I
that you
I would
love.
say Zia Africa. I love her work.
Okay.
Yes, I think that she's doing absolutely amazing. I love her products. Yes, but she's still not onboarded with me
Ah,
because yes, but yeah. But for the managed brands that I have, I manage. I don't think they are local brands. They are international brands like Adidas or Levi's. Yes, they are not local, but I'm dealing with them. Yes.
it's a good thing to be. The transparency is definitely something that is good. But
Yeah,
I would love to see a lot more African fashion brands or Kenyan local fashion brands now that you're here. Working
I will be
alongside or
pleased to work.
collaborating with.
Yes, I
Well,
will be pleased to work with them.
Jess, do you see some of the local fashion brands? Which are your recommendations for local fashion brands that you think that should be working with Jumia? Um,
My recommendations for that is
Oh.
to try to have instant stock, because something that I noticed about local brands here or local sellers, that they create the product when the customer asks for it. And Jumia's
Slow fashion, yeah.
Yes, we are more into fast. Of course, for me as Emna, I encourage everyone who is passionate about fashion to create an account and start selling, because I will try, and Jumia will try as much as we can to push it. But not having sufficient stock or something that you can sell immediately might create a certain problem, because the customers are not always passionate. So sometimes, yes, sometimes they need something very fast. Yes, that's my idea.
Okay. Jess,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts? I mean, because we're definitely stuck in the space of making business and then also promoting slow fashion, not so much of fast fashion.
Sustainability, yeah.
What are your
I
thoughts?
think the middle ground it really is then actually having special stock only for Jumia as a brand.
Yes.
So they would have to create certain collections that, you only have certain number of X, Y, and Z
Mm-hmm.
of that item or variant that is only limited to Jumia and not part of their actual greater
Mm.
collection of items, which would be probably more of a slow fashion.
Right.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
so I just want to
Yeah.
kind of
Emna, can you
turn
see
back
me?
into,
Okay.
oh, we can't see you, Jess.
She disappeared.
We definitely
Um,
cannot see you.
Yeah.
I can see you.
Yes.
I can see
Okay.
Um,
Emna. I can't see
Linda,
you.
you can't see me.
Crazy.
Okay, Linda, the most important thing, are you hearing us? This is the
Of
most
course,
important.
we can hear you.
Okay.
We can
Yeah,
hear
because
One
you.
of the other
you've been
suggestions.
frozen for like a while now, for me at least.
Are
Yes.
you serious? So you haven't seen me at
Linda,
all?
you are frozen since
Like ages
No, not for like
ago?
20 minutes. Like 20
you are
minutes.
really
Yeah.
frozen.
I'm just like, maybe I'm talking about AI and they're not really
Oh,
liking this whole conversation of us
yes. You look
talking
like
about
an
We
AI.
can't see.
Did
Ole.
anybody see
Oh,
that?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just then, I'm like, do I just switch off my
Yeah.
screen at this point?
I wanted to add something, Linda. One of
Sure.
the solutions that AI can help with is to, I think this is a future idea, but to have discussions about having those designs or products that the local brands are promoting for or creating, is to have virtual or like augmented reality of those products before creating them. That will help the customer see more those products.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that is a good idea. But I cannot confirm if we are going to do
Yeah,
it or
actually,
not.
that's true. I mean, I've
Yeah.
um Oh, okay. Oh, now you're moving, I think, a little bit. And I agree with you because I've actually worked with a brand that's working with someone that does virtual try-on. So you scan the
Mm,
QR code and then you see what it looks like on you.
yeah.
It's not the cheapest thing, but then
Mhm.
if one thinks about it in a way of cutting costs when it comes to making samples,
Yes.
and as something that would actually eventually give them more sales in the long run, because it wouldn't be an instant thing because it's
Hmm.
still in an early adoptive phase, I guess.
Yes.
But that's definitely something that some brands should definitely consider in that sense.
Yeah.
I mean, also, I feel like with Jumia, there's ways because you do home electronics and stuff, right? Isn't there also
Yes.
augmented reality where you can actually put like a TV in the living room and see what it looks like? You know, there
Um.
is actually I've seen
Uh.
that where it's
Mm,
like you take a scan and then be like,
mhm.
oh, or the picture would look good here, or home interior stuff. There's actually you can make a 3D like scan or something like that in this room. So there's actually a
Mm.
way for that to
There's a
happen that
way.
is outside of the
Yeah.
fashion space.
There is a
Yeah.
way. It happened
fashion
with the
and
beauty.
footwear. Yeah.
Yeah, it happened with the beauty.
Yes,
One
the
of the
lipstick.
brands, yeah, Maybelline
Mhm.
used it to try on the lipstick with your phone. But let's be real here. Do you think that can
Mhm.
work, especially for those customers who feel excluded from the sizes? There's a lot of one size fits all products, and I think that's a lot of customers are not finding themselves, not seeing themselves in those products. I think that can help. I don't know. This is my point of view. You might be aligned. You might
I think
be think it's something
there's
else.
a way
Yeah.
of, there's a way of, yeah, there's a way of doing augmented reality in a way where, or AI, where you'd have a plugin in your Shopify or whatever your website is, host is,
Mm,
and then they could actually measure you
yes.
so you can see how something would fit
Hmm.
perfectly.
Yeah. That can be a solution. Yes. Absolutely.
I know there's quite a few spaces online, especially
Mm,
virtual shops that actually are using that for sizing right now.
mm-hmm.
And a couple of spaces where apparel, like that is become their lead and go to, especially with Shopify. So it would be interesting to see how that also works with Jumia in the future.
Yeah. I'm absolutely aligned with you. I had the idea in my mind, and yes, that's relies on me now to convince them. But yes, as I said, Jumia is aware of the importance of AI now in every field, not only fashion. And I think
Yeah.
a huge company like Jumia will absolutely consider that in the business development of those brands using AI, and also improving the customer experience. That is the most important things for us.
Right.
But seeing, for example, biggest retailers, allow me to say some names like Shein or H&M or Zara, they're still not using that, I guess. I'm consulting their websites and I'm not seeing a lot of information related to AI there. So maybe the
I
fashion industry is still not
They still use
convinced.
AI, but more of a way of increasing sales. So, in the
Hmm.
sense of data
Reading
collection,
data. Yes.
Yes, like
yeah.
every platform is doing, but they're not
Hmm.
using it for virtual try-ons
No,
or yeah, they're still not using it.
I
So I
think
think
the
that should
reason
be studied.
why
Yes.
I think the reason why, in my opinion,
Mm,
would be because they're more fast fashion. So by the time they're actually updating their AI for virtual try-on, they already have a new
yeah.
style. Like, I think it will be too much for them. And the
Yes.
fact that they're able to have more returns and not have a negative impact on their revenues, I
Yes.
think they also just, not really worried too much about it.
Yeah.
Um, so that's in the fast
Right.
it's the
Yes.
fast
Yes.
fashion side of things when it comes to that. So by the time
Mm,
that they're merchandising, because I think Zara comes out with a new collection like almost every 10 days. So it
yeah.
would be too much for that. Maybe for a higher, so you'd see more of the virtual try-ons for higher end brands like
Mm,
luxury and
hmm.
or very sustainable brands in that sense.
Yes. 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 That makes sense. Yes.
Yeah.
But I think soon that AI will take over. Yes,
Yeah, of course, sure.
absolutely. It's going in a
Yeah.
direction that it will help humans more do more. So yes, I am aligned with that 100%.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to start bridging those gaps. It needs to start somewhere. I feel like even sitting in Nairobi,
Mm,
we have a
mm,
lot of, like Microsoft has their innovation center.
Mhm.
And I feel like how they're working it out now becomes a time where we partner with all these amazing tech companies who can actually help us as
mm,
the industry to leverage on
mhm.
how AI works, because that's the only way. The more educated people are, the better it works
Yeah,
for them. It'll help support our transparency when it comes to fashion, authentic, creating an authentic products, the artisans, what they're doing, where they're from. So, and help build also that whole cross-cultural relationship.
Yeah.
So,
Yes. Yes.
Jess.
Yes.
Two
Oh, was I really still? This is the first time
Yeah.
I'm seeing you moving in about 20 minutes.
Oh, I love it's so weird. And I've
Linda,
been
now
doing
you're
things,
moving.
I've been
Yes.
waving my hands and everything. Anyway, so I like what Connie, I'm just gonna put this out here, showing like what is the take on AI in the styling industry. And maybe Jess, you could take that one.
In the styling industry, I think it would just actually help you discover new emerging designers and not just keep to the same people that you work with all the time. And then also, it would also help you when it comes to forecasting for sure, and seeing what the trends are and what people are buying and what people are interested in, instead of having to do this more of manually, and it would be more automated and more efficient, I feel. It will cut down a lot on your time. But then, again, it still has to have a human element, because you have to put it together, you have to style it, you have to, meet with the designers or whomever is the craftsmanship or the artisan, sorry. And so, instead of having to do hours and hours and eons of research and watching every single runway for every fashion week that's out there, it will actually just gather all the information for you and efficiently put it together for you. And then you will ask what you want it to ask for whatever occasion it is for your
Digital
client.
collaborations.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And oh my gosh, it really does help because it just increases visibility. And I feel like Africa needs the visibility that, in
It does.
my sense. And we saw it play such a big, influence at the Met Gala, which was such a proud moment for us guys.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yes.
so just showing the visibility and showing the craftsmanship and creating the collaborations, even with the
Oh yeah.
with the
Also, the theme. Also, in lieu of that, because there was a conversation surrounding the dandyism and how not very many African designers were featured, but with the help of AI, and if everyone was integrated, like you said, digital collaborations in that sense, stylists abroad would have actually found people on the continent to be able to contribute to dandyism, which is something that's also very big in Africa, like in the Congo.
absolutely.
Yeah, so that AI would have helped with that for sure.
That is true. So my takes right now, and what I would love to hear from both of you, just as we kind of get into closing out our session, is basically what do you think? What are your hopes for the future in terms of AI and what it contributes to Jumia? And then for you, Jess, is what are you, how do you want AI to influence our African fashion brands? And what do you see the future being for AI? Let's say, and because you said you've been so much more in the e-commerce space, what do you see that to be? So we'll start with you, Emna.
Yes. As I said before, Linda, AI now is becoming more and more present in our lives, not only in fashion, but I'm going to speak about fashion. I hope that AI can help the partners and the local creators or designers have more space in Jumia or in any other platform. This is the most important thing for as someone working in business development. In the same time is to improve the customer experience through AI. So AI can be used and should be used in improving both sides. My hopes for the future is to not be afraid of using it to improve both experiences.
Right.
Yes.
And what about for you, Jess? when we're talking about the emerging markets and
AI, be able to have more of a centralized database, something that where artisans, designers, and anyone can come and be like, okay, this is what is on trend, this is what forecasting, where we can actually have everything a bit more streamlined. And that's where also where blockchain comes into play, because then it's a checks and balances for the value chain. So where one raw material comes from and then till the end. And so that is tracked. And also it ensures that artisans are also paid fair wages and they're actually paid as well. And so that is something that I would really like to see, because I feel like it's quite scattered, and it's not really anyone's fault in that sense. It's just that we're so rich in culture. It's been so hard to just get it together, like, cohesively. So the future is for me to hopefully see that there's more of a cohesive place where we can get all this information. And this will also help with education in the universities and, education for anyone that is studying this topic as well. And also for people who also want to learn the skills, be highly skilled. You don't have to go ask someone in the middle of nowhere to figure out how to do something as well. It's so that people can actually be able to learn these big heritage skills through these databases as well, and also preserving these skills to make sure that they don't disappear. And so, obviously there's that whole thing about ethical and overproduction, but, there's one thing where AI can, probably do that, which is the negative side of things, but then there will always have to be that human touch where if someone has done something by hand, you can always tell, and it tells more of the story. But a way to prevent that, again, is by using blockchain as well. So I would like to see more brands embracing it through e-commerce, having their e-commerce website. That is the first step, actually, to be fair. Get your Shopify website set up. And then you can put in the plugins for AI, which a lot of them are free, and then start learning from there. And then you'll start gathering insights as well. And then it just goes towards a more sustainable future, both financially and environmentally.
It does. And also just improving our visibility of all the craftsmanship that comes from this beautiful continent of ours. And there's so much to leverage.
So much potential. Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's the educational aspect of it as well, for sure.
Cool. I really appreciate this. I feel like with my data just being horrible and it keeps flickering on and off, I'm just like, oh my God. So here's So here's the deal, is that I feel like Emna and Jess, one of the things that I would really love to revisit again is when we're back to not our virtual edition, but when we're back to having our live conversations with some of our key industry leaders, and we're all in the same place and gathered together. I think this would be a really cool conversation to continue and have a part 2 of. I know we were expecting somebody from Microsoft to join our conversation, and I hope that maybe by July, August, we'll be able to have that edition going. But I really want to take the time to say thank you to both of you for even for taking time to be part of this. I know we have got so much more to talk about, especially with AI and retail, and bringing some of those leaders to the table to actually readdress AI and fashion and retail in Africa. But this is a great start to a conversation. It's a great start to even challenge Jumia to say, hey guys, I think that is a space that you guys need to also readdress and maybe align with. Just it is the future, and it's it would be nice
Absolutely, Linda.
Jess, thank you so very much for your insights. I know you're working a lot with the UN and with all these amazing women in changing the scope of Africa and luxury and fashion, and also
Yeah.
in keeping in time with the conversations on AI. So it really would be amazing to have you back. And thank you so much, Connie, for
My
joining us
pleasure.
on live. But thank you guys, and have a beautiful and lovely evening. To our
Thank you so
sponsors,
much,
Skyward
Linda.
Express, thank you.
Thank you so much, Linda. Thank you,
You're
Jess.
most welcome.
Hope to see you soon, ladies.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Coffee and me.
It's through those sessions, Linda, that we get to improve the future of fashion. I am sure of that. Thank you so much,
Oh,
Linda, again.
thank you. Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank
Oh,
you.
now you're unfrozen. Okay, bye.
AI.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank
Bye,
you,
my
ladies.
pleasure.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.